No, I'm fine, good. Thanks, bro. Hey, sorry, I dirty on top. Sweat.
No problem, no worries.
This one, yeah, that one. This side is... The wire is on the right?
Wire, I think there's a left and right. You should be able to see it. Here. You see here? Or here
I
somewhere?
realize your camera looks a bit slanted.
Is it slanted? You want to trim?
I can't
Oh, you can't see. You just pull out the HDMI on the camera, then you can see it on your side.
You see it's okay. I just straighten it.
Okay, you ready to roll?
Yep.
Probably it's already rolling. Oh yeah, we're getting a photo.
Okay.
Okay, ready, 1, 2, and
Gotta do the Asian peace sign, man. Alright, Izzaaz, welcome. Welcome to Singapore.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
You stay in JB, right?
I actually stay in PJ, Selangor, but I have relatives in JB, so I figured I'd pop by down Singapore.
Right, and we went for a ride this morning.
Yeah, thanks for having me. And I really enjoyed it. The routes were super scenic.
TMCR.
Yeah, and the roads are smooth. Unlike
So what's your
Malaysia.
tire pressure, man?
I run 85 to 90. I should have jacked it up to 100 PSI.
120?
Yeah.
Are you on clinchers or turbulars?
I'm on clinchers. Yeah.
Okay.
So I run a GP 5K with tubes.
Okay. Heard you're a COVID cyclist as well.
Yes, I am one of those COVID cyclists.
Oh.
So I've been cycling about 1.5 years. Seriously cycle for about a year. Yeah, so when I first started, it's just me and another guy. So we just went around our neighborhood and very short distances and quarantine lockdown. So it was on and off. And start of this year, we really racked up the miles because we had a couple of new guys in the group. So yeah, we consistently rode every weekend.
Right, and your Strava mileage is pretty high, man. Like I was just checking your Strava because we rode this morning. It was like 8,000.
No. I'm currently at 6.5k.
6.5.
Yep.
I'm only half of that, man.
Okay.
So you ride like what, 2-3 times a week?
I try to target at least 3 times a week. But sometimes work is busy, so I'll do just Saturday and Sunday, so twice a week. Yeah.
So who got you into cycling? Your friend, your neighbor?
Yeah, my friend Adrian. He's actually my friend from because we used to rock climb together. So when the lockdown hit, like we didn't have anything to do. So he went and bought a bike, and he convinced me to ride with him. I was a bit apprehensive at first because I tried riding a bike actually to my aunt's place. It's just about 10 kilometers away from my house, and it was horrible. Had to stop a couple of times because of the hills. Yeah, so I didn't really enjoy it.
Right. So what was the first bike for you?
I bought a Trek Domane AL2. That was my first road bike. When I first started, actually, I just rode a hybrid bike that I had in my house.
Okay.
Yeah, so I actually bought a Trek Domane AL2.
Brand new?
Brand new, yeah. For about 3,000 ringgit.
Right.
Yeah.
What group set did it come with?
I think it came with a Sora.
Right.
Yeah, I didn't really know anything about bikes at that time, but one of my friends who was a cyclist, he recommended me this bike, and it was okay. I was comfortable spending that kind of money because I was a bit worried if I wasn't into cycling. So yeah, I just bought the bike, and I only had it for two weeks actually, because then lockdown again, and we weren't able to ride at all outdoors.
But 3,000 ringgit for a Trek Domane is pretty cheap.
At that time, I didn't really know like what is a good price for a road bike. But yeah, I guess so. I knew of that brand before, so I thought it's an okay price, and if I didn't like it, I could just sell it off.
How much were you willing to spend?
I told my friend that I wasn't willing to spend more than 5,000 ringgit. Yeah.
And did he give you a surprise like what, 5,000 ringgit only?
yeah. I actually told him that, and he just laughed at me. He said, "If you get into cycling, I'm pretty sure that you will spend
Look
a
at
lot
what
more."
we have right now.
Yep.
Okay, so all thanks to Adrian, I'm assuming.
Yes. I owe it all to him. Well, he taught me about, because like when I first started, like I did not know like bike GPS and sensors on your wheels. I just knew that it's riding a bike.
And you were just running on shoes.
Yeah, I just for the Domane, I didn't run clipless at all. It was just I just used a sport shoe.
Okay.
Yeah, I never changed it to clipless.
Baggy pants, baggy shirt.
I bought a Decathlon short,
Bibs.
big short. Yeah, yeah.
What was your idea? Like, do you know cyclists don't wear undergarments when they wear
I did
bibs?
not know that. I actually wore my underwear the first ride, and then I googled stuff, and it's like, no, that's a
Did it
no-no.
feel weird to you, like, for the first time you had to not wear it? Like, you feel very naked.
Yeah, it was a bit weird at first. Yeah, and I didn't have any issues wearing anything. I didn't any undergarments.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you said you only had that bike for 2 weeks. What happened, man?
Yeah, I had a bike for 2 weeks. I only went for a couple of rides because after that there was a quite serious lockdown. We weren't able to ride outdoors. So after that, I wanted to upgrade already. Yeah.
So you love cycling already, like
Yeah.
within 2 weeks.
Yeah, convinced. I was convinced that I think I quite like this thing, this new hobby, and I wanted to get a new bike, and I wanted to sell off my Trek.
Do you not just like the Trek or what?
I felt that it was a bit heavy.
Is it aluminium, Domane?
Yeah, it was an
Okay.
aluminium. I think it was close to 10 kilos.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and my friend brought me to Damansara Heights and Mayor's Hill. It was a pretty hilly ride, and I felt like dying.
So do you ask him like, oh, how do I go faster? Is it the bike or is it my fitness?
No, I didn't. I just like assumed that I'm weak, so I just have to ride more.
Yeah.
I mean, the bike is heavy, but I think if you're strong, then I don't think there's.
So you managed to sell the Domane off?
Yeah. Apparently, after selling it off, I realized that a lot of people were looking for that bike. Like cyclists were looking for that bike because they use it to turn it into a gravel bike because they can take up to 35 or 38 tires. Yeah, so I sold it off pretty quickly actually. The guy didn't even see the bike. He just transferred me the money. Because at that time it was lockdown, so he couldn't come to my house to view it. So he got someone to get the bike for him.
Right.
He transferred me the money and I just sent it off.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Do you make
yeah.
money out of it or do you at least cover cost?
I lost 200 ringgit.
No, that's not too
Yeah,
bad.
that's not bad actually.
So $200 for riding for 2
yeah,
weeks?
it's like a rental. I
Yeah.
just took it as a rental bike. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
and then, so you said you wanted to upgrade.
Yeah.
So what were you looking at? Do you know it was going to be carbon fiber?
Yeah, I was looking at a couple of brands. At that time, I wasn't really so knowledgeable about bikes, but I knew I wanted a carbon fiber frame just because I heard it's a bit much lighter than aluminium. And I came across Canyon online. I heard it's pretty competitively priced, and yeah,
I think it's value for money, like
it's
Canyon
very
bikes.
value for money. Yeah.
So you bought it online or you?
I bought it online actually.
Okay.
Somehow I got lucky. There was one in stock. The Canyon Endurace. I got it. It's about 12.5, 13,000 ringgit.
Wow, from 5,000 ringgit
Yeah.
to 13,000. Okay,
Yeah.
but you were willing
Yeah.
you knew that for you to get to that capacity or that kind of bikes, you are looking at already 10,000 ringgit, right?
Yes. I was willing to spend that kind of money because at that time I was quite confident that I enjoy riding a bike. It came with a Ultegra Di2 actually, 11 speed. At that time I didn't really know what an electronic shifting was, but I just thought that it was a good price. And I got the bike.
But why Endurace? Why didn't you go for like an ultimate?
Well, because the ultimate was out of stock. It was out of stock for a long time, I think. And I thought that I like to do my research on the internet and read what people say about bikes. And they say it's an endurance bike, but it's pretty light for an endurance bike, and it's quite racier than a normal endurance bike. So I got that. I didn't mind, I guess.
How long did shipping take for you for that bike to arrive in KL?
It was quite fast. Well, it came in August of 2021. I ordered it in May. So a couple of months, but I didn't mind because during that time we couldn't ride outdoors anyway, so I didn't have any I didn't have to rush as well.
If you were to look back or to give advice to people who are watching who wants to get into cycling, right? Because you were once there.
Yeah.
Would you reckon that they should go for a cheap bike, like a 3,000 one, like just like what you said, right? You don't know whether you're going to be in it, or should they just go carbon fiber and not look
I
back?
personally feel that you should go for a very cheap bike, even if you have the money. I mean, to each their own. If you have the money, just spend however much you're comfortable with. But there is value in buying a cheaper bike, a heavier bike, so that when you do upgrade, you really feel like, wow, there's a huge difference. That's what I felt when I upgraded.
Yeah.
Yeah, even though I didn't ride that long.
Right.
So yeah, I think definitely buy a cheaper bike.
It's something like buying a car, right? Like going
Yeah.
for like the most expensive
Exactly.
hypercar Ferrari or whatever.
Yeah.
You don't appreciate the cheaper cars, right?
Yeah. I feel like you won't really appreciate it, and it's.
Okay. And Kenyan, how long was that for?
I rode it for about 7 to 8 months, and then before the end of the year of 2021, I wanted to upgrade it.
The upgrade bug.
Yeah.
But because your friends were all upgrading and then you were like, I'm going to get one for myself as well.
Yeah. Actually, no. They didn't upgrade. I just wanted an all-out race bike, a lightweight bike. Not that the endurance was heavy or anything, but I really wanted a race bike because by that point I knew that I like to ride somewhat faster pace, not really a leisure, like leisurely. So I wanted an all-out just the race, a raciest bike I can find.
Right. So then this is the Scott Addict.
Yeah. This is my
what
current
bikes
bike.
were you looking at?
Sorry?
What bikes were you looking at? Because you wanted something very racy, right?
Yeah. I did look at Specialized. I think was SL6. SL7 was a bit expensive in my opinion.
And it was quite new at the time, right?
Yeah, it was quite new. I also looked at the Cannondale Super 6 Evo. And this, I actually found out about this bike from, I don't know if you probably have heard this YouTuber called Brian SAFA. Yeah, so he does all this descending on his bike, and I really like a green bike. I'm a sucker for a green bike. So yeah, I looked at it and I really like how it looked. So that was my first choice. Like I told myself I want to buy a bike that I really like to, in terms of aesthetics. It has to be light, I guess, but I must love to look at it. So yeah, I got this bike. This was my first choice. Yeah.
Are you a climber or are you a flat out rider? Sprinter?
I like to climb. I'm not so good at it, but I love hilly rides. Yeah, I don't really enjoy flat rides. It's nice if you have a strong peloton and can go like 45, 50.
Yeah.
But it gets a bit boring, I feel.
How do you find TMCR though? Because it was just flat.
It was nice, I guess, because it was my first time riding it. But if I were to ride it every single day, I think it can get quite boring.
Yeah.
But it's a good training. I feel like it's a good training ground to really like test your FTP or VO2 max or whatever. Yeah.
Because we went out for the ride this morning and stuff.
The roads are smooth, like no traffic. It's pretty safe. I feel like it's quite hard to find something like that in Malaysia. So yeah, I would say that it's a very good place to ride.
So what's first impressions like riding in Singapore? I mean, someone who comes from Malaysia.
The roads are amazing here. I don't really have to look out for potholes or like random bumps here and there.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's really nice. Although if you start out from the city center, it is very tiring. I feel like there's so many traffic lights.
Yeah.
It becomes like an interval workout. So yeah,
every 500 meters there's a traffic light.
Yeah, it can get pretty tiring actually.
Yeah. Can you walk us through your bike? How where do you get this from and how do you build it up?
Yeah, so when I eventually decided on getting this Scott Addict,
if it's easier, you could look at the screen for you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so when I first decided to get this bike, I looked around a couple of resellers who bring this bike brand Scott. There's a couple in Malaysia, but at that time, stock for bikes was still pretty hard to get. I asked around every single shop that carried a Scott, but they all of them just said the same thing. Like, we ordered it, but we have no idea when it's gonna come. Yeah, so like at that time, I was pretty desperate to get one because like lockdowns was lifting and we could ride outdoors again. So I didn't really want to have not have a bike to ride. So the next choice was looking at Singapore. And then I eventually found out that KH Cycle carries Scott, and I just DM'd them on Facebook and asked like, hey, like, do you have this bike? And if you do, like, can you actually ship it to Malaysia for me? And yeah, they were very accommodating and friendly. It was really easy. Like they told me like all the steps that I needed to do, just like how to do the fund transfer and things like that. Like, and yeah, they shipped it for me because KH Cycle has Singapore has a shop in Malaysia as well. So they shipped it to the Malaysia branch, and the Malaysia branch built it up for me, and I got it from them.
But I know KH Cycle in Malaysia, they're not like a retail outlet, right? They are next to the one at Pedal Spot in Taman Bahagia.
Yeah, they move actually. I actually don't really know where they are currently.
Okay.
Yeah, so when I got it, the guy just brought me to one of the other bike shops to build it up for me, and I got it from him.
So frame, right? So what's the model of this frame again?
Yeah, so this is the HMX frame.
Okay.
Scott has two types of carbon frame for their Addict lineup. They have the HMX and the HMX SL, which is I think it stands for super light. This is the HMX. So,
Okay.
Yeah, so this is actually an RC20.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you bought frame only?
I actually bought a whole bike.
Ah,
So
okay.
yeah, so the story was I bought the Scott Addict RC20. So the RC20 it comes with a SRAM force and alloy wheels, and I bought the RC20 because it comes in this color, the green color, which transitions to black at the back. Yeah, so I wanted a green bike, and the rest of the colors when I didn't really fancy it. So I bought it, and I sold off the group set, the SRAM group set, and I built it with a Ultegra Di2 12 speed. Yeah, and I got some carbon wheels.
Yeah, so the whole discussion about selling the SRAM and buying Shimano, we were talking about it just now during TMCR.
Yeah.
But before that, so I just want to ask you, right? So
Yeah.
you bought the frame from Singapore.
Yeah.
Is it much more expensive, same price if you were to buy it in Malaysia?
I would say that it's a bit cheaper. I think at that time the currency exchange was quite competitive. It's really good. I got it for a good price.
What about GST and stuff like that? Do you have to accommodate for that?
No, there's no GST. So if you ship full bikes to Malaysia, there is no GST or tax. Yeah, you don't get hit by tax.
Okay.
So if you do buy a frame, then you'll get tax. It can be quite expensive.
What size is this?
This is a S small, 52 I think. Yeah.
Okay, and the question I like to ask is, how do you know this is for you? Do you go for a bike fit and stuff like that?
I did not. It was just I just eyeballed it.
Really?
Yeah, so my previous bike, the Canyon Endurance, was it was an S in Canyon, but it's a 54. I felt that was a bit big for me, so I sized down this one to one size down, so 52. And I kind of know that I'm in between sizes. I can actually go for 54 if I wanted a more relaxed riding position, but I went for 52. Yeah, and I did actually try one size smaller, the 49, and it was too
How do you
too
try it
small
out?
for me. One of the guys had a 49.
Ah.
Yeah, so I tried it out. Yeah, it doesn't work for me.
Right. So
Yeah.
back to the story of the group set. So it came with SRAM Force, right?
Yes,
Bob?
it came with SRAM Force.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you were telling me you wanted the Shimano because of the hoods, was it?
Yeah, so I rode the SRAM Force for about a week,
Yeah.
and I couldn't really get used to it because I felt the hoods was very big for me, and the way I ride, I like to put my palms on the hoods, and it was like pressing against my palm, and it was making my hand numb, and yeah, I just couldn't get used to it, so I sold it off, and it was also a bit heavier lah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is the Ultegra 12-speed Di2, right?
Yes, this is the Ultegra 12-speed, the latest one.
Right.
Yep.
You know, I was also telling you, when I got my 11-speed Ultegra Di2,
Yeah.
the hoods were so shallow, and I couldn't get used to it because I came from the mechanical Ultegra,
Yeah.
right? And that mechanical hoods were really chunky, and then
Yeah.
when I got to this, like, it's only half of my hand because I like to hold it like that.
Yeah.
Don't you? But this one is the new one is much more chunky
The
as well.
new
right?
one is a
not
bit,
as chunky as the Strand.
Yes, it's much bigger than the previous Ultegra 11-speed. Yeah.
But coming from SRAM to, I mean, I don't know how long you rode the SRAM and then
Yeah.
you tried Shimano. Which is your preference? If the hood wasn't the problem.
I'll always go for Shimano, just because it's much easier to get the parts in Malaysia. Like that's another thing that I found out that not many people sell. It's very hard to get spare parts or and it's much more expensive. If anything goes wrong, like it's tough.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. And then what else do you have here? So wheel set. What wheels are these? Parcours.
Yeah, these are the Parcours Grimpeur or something like that. Yeah, it's 40 mm. I came across this brand, I think, just by reading some, like forums, and there was, pretty good reviews from people, and yeah, it's pretty light. I think it's about 1.4 kg.
What hubs are these? Are these their own in-house hubs?
These are their
Parcours
own in-house hubs.
Okay.
There is an option if you go online, if you buy online, there is an option to upgrade to the Kojal ceramic one. But these are just like the normal steel hubs.
What wheel sets were you running previously?
On my Addict,
So the Addict came with the aluminium.
came with the Syncross alloy.
Okay. And previously on your other bikes?
I ran Hypers 38 on my Canyon Endurance.
Oh.
Yeah, but when I sold off the bike, the guy wanted the
Hypers.
Hypers as well, so I just sold it off.
How is it like Hypers and then you move on to this? Is there like a significant difference in performance?
I can't tell. Yeah.
As long as it's like a carbon rim.
Yeah,
right? It
as
rolls.
long as it's light and it's, I'm not such a pro cyclist, so I don't really feel any.
Will
any
you go for
difference.
deeper wheel sets? Is it practical in Malaysia to have deep wheel sets?
I think it's practical if you don't really do hilly rides, but I think 40, 45 would be a sweet spot. 50 max if you want to do like a lot of hills, but I mean there are a lot of people who run like 55, 60 and they still go for those rides where it's very hilly.
I remember filming one Addict previously, and I know the fork has that magnetic flap, right?
Yes.
What's that for? Is it just for you to access the brake calipers?
Yes, it's just to cover the screws to.
Will it fall off?
I don't think so. I've gone over a couple of big potholes and bumps and it hasn't come off.
Okay.
Yeah, it's pretty solid.
What else do you upgrade? So you got power meters as well, right?
I have I added the Favero Duo Shi and also changed the handlebars because the stock handlebar was alloy and it was a bit wide for me. It was 420 mm.
It's white.
Yeah, that's very wide for a small bike. So I got a 400 and 100 stem.
And you got this from Cage Singapore as well?
No, I got this from Bike Pro, which also sells Scott. Yeah.
So the first point of contact in Malaysia for Scott is Bike Pro in Malaysia, right?
Orbit Cycle also has, I think Orbit has the largest amount of stock in terms of Scott.
But none of them had the frame when you wanted to buy it.
At that time, they didn't have any Addicts in stock.
Okay.
Yeah.
What do you say about the performance of this bike? I mean, you've tried endurance train, and this is very aggressive.
One thing I can immediately feel after coming from the Endurance was the responsiveness of the bike, and it's much lighter. To me, the biggest difference is the responsiveness. When you put down the power, you can really feel like it goes. Yeah.
How heavy is the bike?
Sorry?
How heavy is the bike?
I'm not really sure, but the last time I weighed it, it was about 7.4
Oh,
kg.
light.
Yeah.
You're a
I
weight
think-
weenie, right?
Yeah, I am. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not obsessed with it, but yeah, I prefer much lighter bike.
And the fork looks kind of out of place to me. Like it's super chunky.
Yeah. Actually, one of my friends pointed it out because this Addict RC is actually considered one of their lightweight bikes. It's not an aero bike, but it has quite a lot of aero properties. I think if you put deeper wheels on it,
Yeah.
it's very aero.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So what is the full price of the bike now?
Full price is about, I would say, is 10 to 11 k Singapore dollars.
Singapore dollars.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So you've been in Singapore, you've seen the bikes here. What do you
Yeah.
think, man?
Wow, everyone rides very fancy bikes.
Yeah. In Malaysia, what bikes do people move? What do you see common bikes around? Everything, right?
Everything. Yeah, I see like Cannondales, Trek. Trek is quite popular there. There are a lot of people with Pinarellos as well. Specialized, everything actually.
I know
But
one of
there are a
your
lot-
friends has a SL7.
Yeah,
Who submitted questions every hour of my phone keeps dinging,
Yeah.
and it's like, Nicholas still not done submitting questions. So let's ask some of the questions that he has, right?
Yeah,
The first one that's on my page right now is how fast are you on TMCR since we wrote this morning?
I have no idea, but we were going respectably fast.
Around 35.
35.
And it was wet, man. It was like raining.
It was really wet. I hate riding in the wet. So and I was quite hungry.
Oh,
I didn't have
know
any
that.
breakfast. So
Oh man! So
Yeah.
when I woke up, I saw like, oh no! I looked at the weather forecast, like clouds are everywhere, and I texted you, it's raining, man.
Yeah.
And you texted me, it's raining, it's drizzling at Bugis. I'm like,
I was surprised when I got out. It was drizzling.
Yeah.
I didn't expect that at all.
and you're only here for the weekend, so I'm like, you know
Yeah.
what? You're already here. I normally avoid the rain because
Yeah.
of the whole cleaning out that I have to do. Like, you know what? We just go out and
Yeah.
ride. So as people can see later when we film B-rolls, it's not the best cleaning bike because he
Yeah.
rode all the way from Bugis back into the studio
Yeah,
over
it
here.
might be the dirtiest bike on your show.
So we only wiped down the first part of
Yeah.
it. We didn't wipe the other side. Okay,
Yeah.
that's from Nicholas.
Yeah.
And there's another question.
Yeah.
Compared to many other alternative brands, why Scott?
Well, I can't really give you a definite answer, but when I look at the bike and sometimes for me personally, if I like something, like sometimes I just like a brand or a bike or how it looks, and I stick to it. And yeah, because just like I said, I told myself that I'm only gonna buy a bike that I really like in terms of like the look. So yeah, I guess it's also maybe a bit more rare. Yeah,
You don't see
not
that
that
many around.
I care so much how exclusive it is, but yeah, I think it's a very nice looking bike, and to me the price point is very competitive for what you're getting. So yeah, that's why I got it. Yeah.
What will you upgrade to next if you will upgrade?
Well, my friends might laugh at me, but I don't think I'm upgrading because I really like this bike. But if money was no object, I'll get a SL7 just because.
So common, man.
Yeah, just because I guess the marketing works. Yeah, it's just I rode my friend's S-Works, and I don't know, maybe it's just like the aura that you're riding an S-Works.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm pretty happy with this bike.
Anything that you are not happy with or you would upgrade on the bike? On this bike?
No, actually, I'm pretty happy with it. It's been rock solid for me. This year, I've been riding it quite a bit, and yeah, it's faultless in my opinion.
You did a bike fit, right?
Yeah, I did a bike fit for this bike.
Where do you go to?
I went to VO2 Max.
Okay.
I did a comprehensive fit by this guy called Patrick, and yeah, he measured me and did some tests, and we did a couple of runs on the trainer, and it's been good so far. I only did it recently, about a month and a half ago.
Did it help you in your riding position?
Yeah, I believe so, because I found out that one of my legs are a bit shorter than the other. So he put like this shim under my cleats, so it's a bit more balanced.
So
now.
you never knew that you had?
I did not know that at all. But I did tell him that sometimes I get my left leg gets tired quicker than my right. So yeah.
Will you advise people to go for a bike fit?
If you don't have any issues with a basic fit that you've got from when you bought the bike, then no. But if you do have issues and you plan to ride a lot and be on the saddle a lot, then yeah, definitely do it, because it's gonna affect your well-being, and it won't be fun riding.
But who set up your bike for you earlier on when you started riding? Do you do it yourself?
Yeah, I just eyeballed it. Yeah.
And it worked just like watch on YouTube how to do a simple bike fit.
Yeah, when I got the bike passed to me, Jeff did like a basic bike fit for me. Yeah.
Okay, I don't know if I'm probably gonna butcher this name. It's on the
Yeah.
bar tape. How does the Silca Nastro Cucino
Oh,
compare to other bar tapes that you've used? What's so special about this bar tape?
okay. I didn't really specifically look for this bar tape, but when I built up the bike, the guy at the shop told me that it's good. It's very grippy because I don't like to wear gloves actually at all, because I feel it's a bit the sweat and stuff. So I prefer to not use gloves, and it's been very very good, especially in the wet, because it's very grippy and soft. But I don't think there's anything so special about it. But yeah, wow, people
Yeah.
actually know about this.
Yeah, and I
this brand.
didn't. People can pick it up.
Yeah.
So you don't ride with gloves. You don't find it being very slippery, like in the rain,
If it's
like
the
this
rain-
morning, for example.
This morning, no. But if it is actually constantly raining quite heavy, then it does get slippery. If you're on the hoods a lot. But yeah, other than that, I don't really feel like the need to wear.
In Malaysia, when you ride,
Yeah.
are cars a problem? Like, do they come in the way? Are they very aggressive compared to Singapore?
Yeah, I've not had any issues here today, even though it's just my first day. But I do feel like in Malaysia you have to be a bit more careful, especially if you go on narrower roads. Some roads have a lot of lorries and there's potholes, so you have to be very alert.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Next question, again from Nicholas. Can this frame handle your 1,000 watts?
Well,
What's your average watts like? Like how much output do you put?
no, that is just probably a joke, but I've never outputted even.
Do you know what's your FTP?
Well, I tried it. I tried to do an FTP test outdoors before, and it said like about 200
Okay.
215, but I mean I don't really put much weight into it. Yeah, as long as I can ride hard,
Yeah.
then yeah, it's fine.
Okay. Since you got a Trek, right?
Yeah.
The next question is why not the Imonda SLR?
I guess I wanted to try a different brand. Obviously I bought the Domane as my first bike, so I guess I always like to try other brands just because to see how different it is from my previous bike. The Monda is quite nice, personally I feel, but yeah, I also feel that it's quite on the more expensive side, I guess, because Trek is quite popular. So yeah, I didn't really look at Trek when I considered buying my bike. Yeah.
Okay. Which is your favorite climb to smash in KL? Actually, it's from Adrian. I think this is the same Adrian we're talking about.
Okay.
Yeah.
In KL, I would say
Mayor's Hill.
Mayor's Hill, yeah, Mayor's Hill or Science Center in Damansara Heights.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's a nice climb.
It's a bit
short.
long. Long for me.
Oh, okay. Yeah, KL, yeah, that's a nice. Or Gasing Hill in PJ as well is pretty nice, I feel. Yeah.
You spoke about SAFA Brian, right?
Yeah.
So, question from the user would like to know, and it's in capital letters, the whole entire thing. Why Scott Addict, not Scott Foil? Addict descends slow, sial, not like SAFA.
Oh, okay. So the foil is the aero bike that Scott has, but I didn't really want to get an aero bike. Well, I guess it's a bit heavier than the Scott Addict, but I also feel like I don't really need an all-out aero bike. I guess people buy it because they like the look of it, I guess, but personally I feel that an all-rounder bike is more than good enough for me. Like if I want to be very aero, I'll just put 50 or 60 wheels on it, and I think it will be fine.
Yeah, and you said you're a climber and you prefer climbing anyway, so it doesn't make sense for you to get a foil, right?
Yeah, I will get another bike that's aero, but as my main bike, I wouldn't personally get an aero bike.
Last question for the day.
Yeah.
The seat post, again from Nicholas, that seat post looks very high. Is the frame too small for the rider? Is it very high? Well, it's higher that it can't even fit into the frame.
Yeah, I guess it's high. I guess my legs are a bit long compared to my torso.
This is a 52, is it?
It's a 52, yes.
You couldn't go for a 54?
I think I could, but I think it's a bit too big for me. Yeah, I'd much rather to downsize and
Yeah.
get a 54.
How long's your stem?
My stem is 100 mm.
Because it's a one piece, so you couldn't get it wrong, right? Like you need to know that it's
Yeah,
100.
so I guess I've been quite lucky in that sense. So I just, when I got this one piece handlebar, I just eyeballed it like, okay, I guess I think I'll be fine with a 400 mm width
Yeah.
and 100 mm stem. It's quite a generic setup, so I just bought it. But yeah, it would have been quite bad if that didn't fit me.
But it came with a lot of different varieties for you to choose from, like maybe 110 with different width lengths.
Yes.
Like all sorts of combinations.
Yeah, like you can get a 39 mm width or with 90 stem or 36. I think it does. It come in 36. Yeah, I think the stem also goes up to 120 maybe.
Does it come with different angles or just fixed?
It's
angle?
fixed. Yeah, it's fixed.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that makes life a bit easier, I guess.
Yeah. I didn't really have much choice. I think, but even the guy at the bike shop said that for Scott, it's a bit weird looking if you get a non-Scott handlebar on it. Yeah. So I just got this Scott brand.
Right.
Yeah.
Last question from me is the power meters.
Yeah.
So, would you recommend people get a power meter, and how important is it? Could you just have done away without a power meter?
Definitely. I think you can just, like, if you want to track your progress, then you can just do so by looking at your Strava. I guess, like, if you get PRs, that means you're going faster, and you can just generally feel like you're becoming stronger. But I personally I like the power meter. Having a power meter and the heart rate gives me a lot of data. I just like to look at it, it's nice to see it, I guess, and easier to track.
Yeah.
Compared to the heart rate, because whatever your output is, that is the number. So yeah, I guess if you really are into cycling and you like to see the numbers, then by all means get a power meter. But I don't think it's necessary at all.
Yeah. Do you foresee yourself racing?
Not really. Oh, you mean like crits?
Yeah, I mean, and will you participate in races in Malaysia?
The longer ones I don't mind, I guess, but like crits, I don't really enjoy that kind of like high intensity, like shoulder to shoulder. Yeah, I'm also definitely afraid of crashing, and I only have one bike, so yeah. I guess if I have a cheaper aluminum bike, then I might think about it, but no, not really. I just do this for leisure and to de-stress.
Right.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for coming, and I don't know if you'll be riding tomorrow.
Yeah, thanks for having me, man.
No problem, man.
Appreciate it.
And safe trip back to KL. The next person who has to come here, do you know who is it?
Yeah, it's Nicholas. With his,
Nicholas. I heard he's coming.
Yeah, I think he is. So he has to come with his SL7.
SL7, right? He was riding. I rode with him back in Malaysia. That's how I first knew him. And he was riding that orange TCR.
Yeah.
And the next thing I knew, I look at my Strava, dude, this guy got a new bike, man. It's a SL7.
Yeah, it's really nice.
It's the red one, right?
It's red and it transitions to black. Yeah, so I really like those two-tone colors. So I think it's a beauty.
Yeah. Thanks so much for coming, man.
Yeah, thanks a lot for having me, man. Appreciate it. Yeah,
no problem.
Thanks for showing me around today.
Yeah,
appreciate it.
We'll catch up again soon next time.
Yeah, definitely. I'll definitely hit you up when I'm back here.
Yeah, thanks, man.
In my mind, can't seem to break away. Lost in time, thinking about better days.